Pitre, and I'm going to talk to you guys about solar energy a little bit. Talk to you about background a little bit, give you an overview of the concept of how solar energy works, the process, and the disadvantages and advantages. Also, I'm going to present the long-term advantages, future in solar energy. This is the background. In 1839, the photovoltaic effect was discovered by Edmund Becquerel. Yeah, and that's pretty much when they discovered that light can produce a voltage between two positive and negative anodes. And then in 1883, the first selenium solar cell was invented by Charles Fritz, and selenium is one of the main materials used in solar energy. And in 1905, photoelectric effect was invented by Albert Einstein, and this is a picture of the photoelectric effect. It shows electrons, light coming in, electrons bouncing off, or like the light, I guess, triggers the electrons to go crazy. In 1954, the first solar cell to produce power was invented by Darrell Chapman, Calvin Fuller, and Gerald Pearson. And now today we use solar energy. Solar energy has become a way of improving efficiencies and stuff. Concept uses photovoltaic cells, like I said earlier. They're known as PV cells, and they're thin layer of silicon cells with semiconductors P-type and N-type. P-type's at the bottom where the metal's at, and the N-type is at the top. Next slide, you'll see there's a picture of it, and there's a protective glass that covers the cells, and it's coated with a certain material, a certain, I guess, alloy, and that's to keep the light in order to produce the voltage from the electrons. And this is kind of a little overview of the process. Light comes in, it hits the cell, and the light is trapped in the solar panel. And the electrons are excited and creating an electric field here inside here. And that excitement produces, that electric field is then transferred to a circuit, and the circuit is then they use that for output work, and that work, that I guess voltage is stored. Usually you use a battery and stored for later use. Next. Advantages: it's free, renewable energy from the sun, and the more solar cells you have, the more efficient it can be, because solar energy is fairly young, and it's kind of still a little borderline expensive and efficient. And other materials, like highest efficiency, you get 40%, but that's using like the best materials out there, and that's really expensive. But now I saw that a lot of, I guess, modern ones that they use are like 15% efficient, around there, and it doesn't require chemical reaction, fuel, or any moving parts. So it's basically just you can sit on your house and it just sits there. You don't have to do any maintenance or anything. There's no outsourced power lines or anything. You can just connect it to your house if you have it there, or wherever, if it's at a facility or anything. You go next. The disadvantages: there's higher. The higher the efficiency, the more expensive the material becomes. Yeah. This is kind of what I talked about, the 40% efficiency. Here's the price of dollars per kilowatt hour for different power, and you can see they have wind compared to solar, and solar's 16 cents a kilowatt. It's pretty low, so yeah. The disadvantages: solar panels, they're pretty big. they take up a lot of space. You kind of, like if you've seen one houses, they take up the whole roof, and that's almost what you have to have in order to power anything. And you have to have direct sunlight, so at night it's you don't really collect anything, and if it's a cloudy day, it's kind of like bad luck kind of thing. But that's why you store it for later use. You go next. This is a long-term advantage. So solar energy right now is more of a, you gotta look long-term in order to do it, because right now it's very pricey, as you can see. First year cost is $8,000, rather than you spend $2,000 for gasoline, say you're comparing cars. And over 50 years, you'll see that it's $12,000, and then total fuel cost to $12,000 over 50 years, and then you have $2,075 in gas. So over time, it does benefit you, and it's pretty efficient. If they're coming out with cheaper ways, trying to come out with cheaper ways to get solar to everybody that wants one. Yeah, and researchers are looking to build efficiencies. They're looking more into nanotechnology to kind of condense them and make it smaller for more public use, and that would reduce the cost a lot. And solar energy has a huge potential for alternative energy and its efficiencies. If you bring the efficiencies up a lot more, you can use it to power your whole house. Or now I've seen online a couple of times, like they have people that they'll take solar and they'll take a wind turbine, like people that live and have a lot of land, and they'll hook that up to their house, and that'll reduce their energy consumption. And that's pretty much how it's used nowadays. It's kind of like you can't really use it to power up your whole house, but I think eventually that it could be an alternative way of doing that. And it's, you know, anybody got any questions?
So is it Brian?
What size to what energy output? Like, I'm just trying to get an idea of
Oh, like,
that.
yeah, like I don't know, look at that. The size, you're saying the size of the panel,
Yeah, like
to how much it would give.
Yeah, they said that the whole house would have to have one on the roof. Well, what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I can even guesstimate that.
Somebody else had a question?
You may not have had it, but like, so like over time, of course, you're looking at gonna like get dirty and like accumulate grime, like the
Residue and stuff.
You know how much chance like that would like reduce the solar panel, like its life? Like how long does like a normal solar panel last for? Like,
They said that residue is never like too much of a problem. They said you could like just rinse it off.
Yeah.
Because that's what that protective glass is for. But I guess, yeah, I can see over time the light won't be able to come in as well. So they said usually within, I think it was like 2 years, it only could allow like 90% of light through, or something like that. And it's like over time, I think it's like 2% a year or something like that. So it's not too big of a jump. So when you get your money back by the time it's pretty much its life's gone. So I would guess probably about 50 years is its lifespan. So. Cool.
Any other questions? Right? Brett? No.
No.
Seems like